Mark Lanterman, the original source for the quote unquote what is believed to be Hunter Biden's laptop data, John Paul Mac Isaacs, or whatever his name is, and CBS News. Well, here we go. Mark Lanterman here. What I've looked up, I deliberately looked up any place he might have said or done anything off the cuff that would indicate any kind of bias. Yeah, read it. He didn't ask me anything once. He did a bunch of commentary. The closest thing he came to was making a joke that involved naming somebody. That's about it. I don't see him as being biased. I don't see him as making dumb mistakes. I don't have the blah, blah, blah. He has impeccable credentials, blah, blah. So that's out of the way. Next, he was involved with CBS News, asking him to evaluate what they were told was, quote, from the original source, but nobody's name was used. I'm assuming it's the computer shop owner, the Mac shop, because the guy ran it under his name Mac. The data was Hunter Biden's laptop. It's authentic. And one of the complaints everybody is doing now is that finally some liberal or whatever legitimate mainstream news sources are saying Hunter Biden's laptop is real. No. First of all, CBS did not confirm this. Mark Lanterman says it's confirmed, or something to that effect. CBS News was only allowed to have access to it recently because a particular party has been restraining people from having access to the data. And during the CBS transmission that I watched, they didn't say who they got it from. They said it's from the original source and left it at that. Every single human being who's touched that damn drive data file set has been named and shamed in some cases, which is inappropriate, I believe. But I'm going to ask Mark Lanterman some questions here. And no, he's not going to hear it. No one's going to care. I'm a nobody. Mr. Lanterman, are you aware of the fact, and it is a fact, it's not in dispute, or are you willing to discuss this, that since you have done court cases, that we have a fruit from the forbidden tree problem with this data source? Number one, the shop owner originally said that he found something unpleasant on a set of data files, on a set of drives, or was it laptops, or both. He changed his story, or the politicians changed his story repeatedly. And that he contacted the FBI and that they confiscated the equipment, and he got a subpoena at one point, and he made a backup copy of everything. You're aware of this story, right? And it's okay if you don't want to address that. But we're going to. Next, that individual that ran the shop originally stated for a fact he wasn't able to confirm Hunter Biden had dropped it off. It could have been somebody dropping it off for him, but the point is, this was, you're not allowed to ask that question. None of us were. Anyway, then somehow this shop owner decided to give it to Rudy Giuliani to benefit a political party. And again, the origination of this was he said that there was something disturbing he saw on the laptop, and he still has, as far as I know, he's never told anybody what it was. This is our witness data source and our trusted source for the original chain of evidence that went to Rudy Giuliani, who is a political hack, who's bordering on batshit crazy, who should not be treated as being useful as a lawyer. I don't care if anybody sues me for it. That's just the way it is. And then we get told, quote unquote, from the original source, but nobody's naming it's Mac by CBS. They're not saying who it is. Okay. Mark Lanterman is on camera saying that he is. I'm gonna round it off and say that he's very sure that this is from Hunter Biden. Well, that's not what he said. I know that, but that's what is this from Hunter Biden? Or is this a bunch of files that would be consistent with someone that could be Hunter Biden? He's not saying that last one. He's saying the more towards it is Hunter Biden's data, and or it's from a laptop. Again, Hunter Biden probably owned a laptop, so saying Hunter Biden's laptop is real is just the same as Hunter Biden's car is a real thing. That doesn't have anything to do with the subject matter. Was the data on the drive incriminating or disturbing? again, politicians and pundits and screaming people in the comment section will not stay on topic on that. So let's skip all that. Let's just do chain of evidence. Mark, you are to be taken seriously from this day forward in a court case. Your literal livelihood depends on you never showing any sort of naivete. Are you aware of an entire political party fucking what that data file said? Because another group of people at a different news source was able to get a hold of what they were told was an authentic, clean copy. And then they found that files were tampered with. Files with time and date stamps changed. There were files added that didn't exist until long after the drive had been left with the Mac shop. Are you aware of that? Are you not wanting to be? I understand doing it from a complete vacuum of information here and starting from scratch, but that isn't going to be able to fly here. The chain of evidence has to include the chain of evidence, and CBS News, or whatever the CBS channel said, it's from the original source. That's how they got it. So, Mark Lanterman, are you aware that your source, the only one you can confirm, is CBS? Okay. Do you know where they got the data from? I'm not joking about that. Did they get it from the Mac shop owner, from his original imaging of the data? Or did they get it from an intermediary for an anonymous source? Or did they get it from, effectively, Rudy Giuliani? Or another two people, I forgot their names, who were really involved in actually trying to make it look good, but kept changing time and date stamps on stuff and got caught, along with throwing files on that Hunter Biden couldn't have had access to before he left the drives. See how this goes. Now, the other thing is Mr. Lanterman's son is on screen. It also says, and he's impressed by the sheer amount of files that point to this being a file set that was owned by or created by Hunter Biden. So, you're going to walk into a courtroom acting as an expert witness and not have an asshat like me ask you, so do you remember that time you authenticated Hunter Biden's laptop, but other people had said that they were able to find easily altered files? And then I sit there and quiz you on, is it easy to change file systems on a drive? Yes, it is. Is it easy to change time and date stamps? Yes, it is. Is it a pure level of incompetence that Rudy Giuliani and the rest of the idiots who tried to fake a file set together couldn't get that right? What's your opinion of that? And then I'd ask, why did you claim on national television, apparently, in a way that would absolutely affect your reputation, that this could only be Hunter Biden's data source, as a data source? Only Hunter Biden? That I don't know. But again, I find it a little bit weird that the CBS News report didn't go out of their way to say, oh, this came from the Mac shop owner. He's the data source. He's the original source that we're talking about. Right, when they just say that. I'm sure that they said that somewhere else in their video or on their webpage, but I couldn't find it and couldn't hear it. I obviously wasn't paying attention. I screwed up. CBS confirms Hunter Biden's laptop is real. No, New York Post, they didn't. Mark Lanterman did. And I'd like to know why this file system doesn't show all the errors we saw months ago, the last time the grifters tried to run this. Okay, let's get some brass tacks. Hunter Biden being a clusterfuck isn't a basis for removing Joe Biden from the presidency. It is used as a way to harass and weaken the office of presidency. This is something, acknowledge it. I have an opinion that trying to impeach Trump twice when they didn't know for a fact they absolutely had proof that he committed a crime at the time is a distraction. Shouldn't have been done. It was stupid. It also locked the door behind being able to do it properly. Next, I'd like to point out, yes, Donald Trump is guilty of committing crimes, but he can get other people to take the fall for him if he does enough work with it. And unless you have actual evidence against him, shut up. No, I don't like I also don't like Hunter Biden. But I don't like Trump. But stop accusing him of crap when you don't have evidence yet. I mean, there's plenty of evidence, but fucking knock it off. That's the same standard I apply, yes, to help Trump and to vilify Hunter Biden also, I should point out, because he needs to stop doing things that are dumb. But Hunter Biden isn't running for fucking office. And again, Mark Lanterman only has one little bit here. No insult. He's the data recovery guy behind the bench that you can just ignore because the conclusion is important. The conclusion is could only be from Hunter Biden, or is that it's consistent with someone who could be Hunter Biden. I didn't see any qualification like that. I've testified in a court case, and one of the things I found out is you do not say something that claiming something is demonstratively true unless you can actually slam dunk prove it. The data source we're talking about, if it's different than the one that was all full of holes and edits, what's the data source? What's your chain of evidence? Oh, it's an anonymous source. How is it an anonymous source? Now, CBS acquired the data. That's what I heard in the story. Maybe I got it wrong. And then handed it over to Mark Lanterman to analyze it. And Mark Lanterman said, it has to be Hunter Biden's. And his son says, because of the volume of information, it has to be Hunter Biden's. Or it's an orgy of evidence, and you know what that term means, Mark. So I'm really curious. Because if I was a defense attorney or a prosecuting attorney, and I was up against you being there, I'd bring in an expert witness that would dress you down on this. This individual, Mark Lanterman, has shown no political bias that I can find anywhere that immediately pops up. Not even a rumor milling of it. So I'm not, even if somebody says it somewhere in the dark end of the internet, I'm ignoring it right now because there's no point. Unless it's really obvious, don't even bring it up. And there isn't any. Why are you actively ignoring this long trail of shit this came from? Now, I'm assuming at this point that it's a raw copy, raw dump from the Mac shop. The Mac shop owner has refused to tell people how we did the imaging. Was it a verbatim copy where you image everything, including the deleted areas, by wholesale ghost imaging it with bit for bit? Or was it a compressed format which can introduce errors? Was it just ignoring everything that had been recently deleted or something? No details have ever been released. Our data source guy can't really say that he saw Hunter Biden drop it off or can't prove it was Hunter Biden's. Never has explained exactly how he did all of that. And then people say, well, why is it taking so long for liberals, or more accurately, computer security technicians like me, to believe that this is really real? Because an entire political party has sat there and said, you can't look at the data. We need to use this for our memes and our bumper stickers. And that's how you win a case. That's how you prove something. And again, Hunter Biden is actually guilty of committing crimes and doing horrible, stupid stuff. But he's not running for president. He's not the current sitting president. And this is used as a way to just distract and harass the presidency. Accept it. Stop arguing. So, Mark, Mr. Lanterman, why are you heavily implying, if not overtly saying, that it can only be Hunter Biden's data? I'm not saying that you said that, but it's strongly indicated. Why is CBS saying we got it from the original source without saying what the source is? Is this the same data file set that had all the errors last time? Or did they just go through and find out, oh, they found the time and date stamps were wrong. Let's fix that by editing them, because you can do that on the file system. Mark, are you, Mr. Lanterman, are you assuming that you can't be fooled by a political party that eventually hires enough hackers, monkeys typing up Shakespeare, to get it right once to where it looks really good? You can't ignore this chain of evidence that's wrapped around its neck. That's my question. Nobody's going to care. You're not going to see this. No one's going to forward this to you. I'm just venting. But someone pointed out that you did this video, that you did this thing on CBS. And I can't for the life of me understand why you seem to be actively ignoring the history of the data file set. And if you did get the raw file, put out a detailed analysis so we can all read it, because I'm very curious how the hell that you were able to confirm that somehow an individual did this. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. Yes, you can be fooled, and so can I. Prove that I'm wrong, please. I'd like to know the truth.